I'm a pickup truck guy, and this is my first opportunity to take a deep dive into the brand new Tesla Cybertruck. I've been driving pickup trucks for about 20 years. I've been towing trailers. I have a CDL. And at TFL Truck, we have tested basically every new pickup that's been made in the last 12 years. So I have some perspective here. This is my first time actually being hands-on with a truck. So let's take a look at its size. So first of all, I mean, it just kind of depends on which angle you're looking at this truck. I'm just about 6'2", maybe a little bit over that. So this is sitting now in medium height. So it can go a little bit higher and it can drop a little bit lower. But this is kind of a standard height at which you will see the Cybertruck. It has, I have my measuring tape, it has a approximately 145-inch wheelbase. Why is it important? Well, that's very typical for a half-ton full-size pickup truck. In fact, a crew cab F-150 short bed has the same wheelbase, about 145 inches. So overall length of this truck, it's similar to a full-size pickup, but because it's all electric, it has a different proportion. The front of it is super, super short. This is where the frunk is. Of course, well, the shape of it, I mean, of course, you know what it looks like, but the doors are quite large. But is it really a pickup truck or is it just a lifestyle vehicle? Well, we're going to figure this out together. First of all, it has no door handles, so it has a pressure-sensitive button, and it's not just a touch button, it's actually pressure-sensitive, so you have to give it a little bit of a nudge, and then you can open the door really by grabbing here. So that's the only natural way I can tell I can open this door. Of course, stainless steel, very special material the body is made out of. This special alloy that Tesla invented, according to them. And this has been wrapped in this brushed kind of black metallic film. And by the way, this would not be possible without my new friend Eric and Butter EV. He's the owner of this truck, and he allowed me to actually film with it at his facility and do several videos together. We're actually going to be pulling a trailer together, so stay tuned to tfltruck.com. We're going to do many, many different things with this Cybertruck before our Cybertruck that we ordered actually comes in. So the door actually opens pretty wide, and I can get in pretty easily. The sitting position is a little strange, not very common. The seat cushion for me doesn't reach kind of the bottom of my thigh here. So I'm kind of, I mean, the seat overall is pretty comfortable, but not the best, I would say, because my legs, I can kind of feel like my legs are kind of hanging in the air. Let me look at the rear seat really quick. Obviously, this is a 5-person configuration, not a 6-person configuration. Oh, you know what? The rear seat is a little bit more comfortable than the front passenger seat. The driver's seat I'll show you in a second. I have plenty of headspace. Maybe my hair touches just a little bit as I'm sitting here. It also has basically a flat floor, which is really great. And you can lift up the seats for additional storage. I mean, this is what pickup trucks have been doing for years and years and years. Like, for example, you could put like a TV screen that you just bought at your big box store and store some things under it. I wish they also provided a little divider so you can have some loose items stored in here and not rolling around everywhere. So this could be improved a little bit, in my opinion. Now, it has a glass roof, really, which is really cool because you could see as a passenger. You don't feel claustrophobic. But because of its aerodynamic shape, and really, I've looked at this really closely. I was studying this online. This was really an ideal shape because for aerodynamics and efficiency. So I think that was one of the primary things that Tesla was looking at. But there is no way I can touch the floor of the bed. So this is what the bed looks like. And let me open the tailgate. There's a couple of ways of doing it. Yes, you can use this button, or you could push a button on this control screen inside and also open the tailgate. You have to close it yourself. It'll kind of cinch itself up as you are closing it. But there is no fancy step. There is no cutout on the side. You kind of have to just kind of get up on the tailgate, and then you can walk up here and pick up or move your cargo or tie down your cargo. By the way, tie downs are amazing. So there are a couple of these D-rings in the floor. So there's 4 here. There is another one. There's 2, one on each side in the front. So you could really tie down your motorcycle, I think, in a pretty... I think it's okay. I wish there maybe was an extra one in the middle. But I think if you put a motorcycle or a bike in here, I think that would be pretty good. Also, you have a track system on each side, and it feels super chunky, really strong tie-down points. One other thing I don't like is this has a hex screw, basically. So you have to have a tool to unscrew this and then move this around. So this is not super easy to do. There are other manufacturers of trucks that, you can just use a hand screw or a little pull tab, and you can move your cleats around really easily. That's not the case here. And of course, you could put a rack system. There's some attachment points here on the top of the bedside. So overall, the bed usability, I would say, is not perfect, but pretty good. Let me measure just for my verification. So this bed floor is about 6 foot long on the bottom, but of course it's sloping. So if I measure from the top of the bed, this is about 66 inches, so 5.5 feet. So depending on what your cargo looks like, if it's like a box or a mattress you're carrying back here, it may not fit exactly perfectly. What about, is this more than 4 feet? Yes. The width of this bed is more than 4 feet. So you can carry a 4x8 sheet of material with no issues whatsoever. Now let me close the tonneau cover. You can see a small window. Visibility is not great. I'll show you that in a second. Let me close the tonneau. It's a powered operation, and right now it feels really strong. I'm not going to jump on this. I know you can. I'm pretty heavy, but Eric, this is his brand new Cybertruck. So if I did some damage to this, he would not be happy with me. So I'm not going to jump on it, but my first impression is that this is pretty solid, and the mechanism that moves it is also very engaging. It doesn't feel really flimsy. You could stop it in the center, whatever. This is really good for covering stuff. So these are the buttons I'm using. Really good for covering your cargo, making it so nobody can see what you're carrying, and kind of protecting your cargo a little bit, and also improving aerodynamics. Now let's look down here really quick. This is where the hitch is. Hitch feels really strong. It's a 2-inch receiver, which is really standard. These tow hooks, we'll do another towing video, and I'll actually hook up a trailer to this. This is a very standard 4-pin connector for your trailer, for lighter trailers, and this is for your bigger trailers, a 7-pin connector. This looks very industry standard, very, very good. But it's kind of hidden underneath this bumper. So I do kind of have to get on my knees or go a little bit lower to actually work on this, or put the pin in here, or attach the chains. I do have some lights. Basically my backup lights here. But other than that, if this was dark, if I was working at night, this could be not as great as some other pickup trucks. 11,000 pounds of towing with this machine. So that's actually a good number. This is similar to most half-ton trucks. Yes, Ford F-150, maximum number, about 13,000 pounds of towing, just a normal F-150. Pretty internal combustion powered Silverado is about 13.4, and Ram 1500 truck tows about 12,700 pounds. So 11,000 pounds is kind of in the meat of that segment, and really, I think, usable. This is not a heavy-duty truck. This is not a proper heavy-duty truck, but I think that capability is just fine. It has these tires. This is quite interesting. So this is a Goodyear tire, and some people called it off the shelf, as if Tesla picked up this tire, at the manufacturer, put it on their trucks, but it's specially made. So it's load range D. You can tell right here. It's a LT, so light truck tire, 285, 65 R20, and M&S. But the tire, well, we'll get to drive it in a little bit. This is basically the hubcap cover. It's relatively simple to remove it, and these tabs are actually soft. And actually, this hub cover has just been recalled. So I'm not sure exactly why it was recalled. Maybe some of the mounting is not perfect. But some of the trucks, some of the Cybertrucks that are going to be delivered in the coming weeks or months, potentially may not have this. Other than that, it needs a little center cap cover or maybe lug nut cover. It has a 6-bolt hubs, of course, disc brakes front and rear, and this is pretty common for a half-ton full-size pickup truck. But this is a tire that it appears to be specifically made for this truck, because it also allows this pickup. This is a dual motor, 600 horsepower technically capability, and it allows this truck to, I don't know if I'll be able to put this back. It allows this truck a top speed of about 112 miles per hour. Oh, forget about it. Maybe that's why it's recalled. So most pickup trucks like the F-150 are limited to about 106 miles per hour top speed. And that's always tire dependent, so tire limiting, because most pickup trucks have tremendous amounts of power. A basic F-150 can have 400 horsepower from their EcoBoost engine or a V8. So power is usually not a problem, but usually for top speed and traction capabilities, your tire determines a lot of your performance for weight carrying and, of course, speed. Let's take a look down here. There's a little VIN plate. It says right there in the corner, gross vehicle weight rating 9169, so just under 9,200 pounds. And up here, if you look at the payload sticker, indeed, as they promised, 2,500 pounds of capability, which is really similar to a heavy-duty pickup truck. That's quite a bit of payload capability. And I have to give them props for creating a truck, because batteries weigh quite a bit, creating a pickup truck with dual motors, about 120 kilowatt hours of battery, and still allowing for so much payload. Let me open the frunk area for you really quick. They say this is about 7 cubic feet of space. There's a kind of a folding chair here. So you could put maybe 2 carry-on bags or several chairs or maybe a golf bag in here, but not a lot more. I think this is great. I mean, it adds a little bit more utility to your pickup truck because no standard pickup trucks have any storage capability up here, unless you, of course, mount, a hitch in the front of your vehicle. You can kind of see some of the stainless steel in here. All right, let's get inside. So I talked about my comfort level on the passenger side was not super great. On the other side, let me get some light. On the other hand, the driver position feels a little bit more comfortable. The floor is a little bit further away from me here. I can feel like I can stretch my legs. And the front seat, I can get kind of in the right position. This has this squircle steering wheel. I mean, I don't know why it has to be this way, but I'm okay with this. Let me try something. So it's actually really easy. This is steer by wire. A couple things. Let's talk about the steering for a second. Steer by wire means there's no hard connection. There's no shaft going from the steering wheel to the steering gearbox to move the tires, right? So that's fine. This also partially because it's steer by wire, but partially not. It has variable ratio steering. That's what it used to be called, right? Variable ratio means the angle of the steering wheels, all four in this case, because it has rear wheel steer, changes with speed. So if you're going at slow speed and you move the wheel a little bit, they turn a lot. And if you're going very fast on the highway and you turn the wheel the same amount, the tires will not turn as much. And actually, this is a system provided by a tier 1 supplier. I'm very familiar with a lot of technologies that ZF creates. You know that company because they also build transmissions for pickup trucks and many other vehicles, including cars and performance vehicles. They built rear steering components for many vehicles, including the GMC Hummer and such. And they built other components. And they built this system as well. So Tesla integrated this system into their pickup truck, which allows you variable ratio, which is great for maneuverability. It allows you, well, we'll do some driving in a little bit. It allows you really great control. And also you can put the steering wheel anywhere. There's no hard connection between it and the wheels. So you could put it in the center, you can put it on the right, you can put it in the back seat. You could steer this thing from anywhere. Now, visibility. Let's talk about the visibility. Now, I closed my tonneau cover, so I have zero visibility in the back. And the central mirror is really small. I mean, this is my hand. I mean, this is really tiny. But as soon as I put it into drive, you see this screen? This is basically my mirror. I can kind of move it around. Can be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. If I go into reverse, I get other views from my side mirrors and, of course, these cameras. Actually, this is pretty high resolution. I like the look of the cameras. But the side mirrors are not tremendously good or big. They're triangular. I'm sure this is design driven and also aerodynamics driven. But overall, visibility is not super great. I also, because the windscreen is so big, I am struggling to determine where my nose is, where the nose of this truck is. It's not very long, so that's good. But I'm still struggling to find it. Also, let's talk about the gear selector. There's no column shift. There's no console shift. I pull this forward to go forward, to drive. I pull it back to go back. I can tap this to park. Okay, it's really close to the steering wheel, but this is not a great truck feature because your hands may be dirty after working or you might be wearing gloves, etc., etc. I'm not in love with the system. It also has buttons here somewhere. There they are. Neutral, reverse, drive. They're like touch sensitive. Yeah, I don't know why they had to redesign that. Also, they had to redesign the blinker. So my blinkers are here, left and right. I'm not in love with that either, because what if the steering wheel was in some other position and now right is left and left is right? So I'm not sure why that had to be redesigned. Not in love with that. Yes, it may be a cost savings, many different reasons for this. But once again, a truck has to be very simple. There's a lot of good qualities about this Cybertruck, but some of this technology stuff is not great. Here's what I love though. I'm a kind of a techie guy, and I love the fact that they have a high resolution, three-dimensional view of the truck. You can control many different aspects of it, including like opening the tailgate. You can open the tonneau cover, open the front. You can change the ride height. Right now I can lower it. I think most manufacturers should be at least at this level. Why? Because it's kind of cool. I mean, we have big screens in all of our vehicles. Why can't we have some fun and operate the vehicle in this way? I don't know why Toyota and Ram and GM haven't gotten to this level yet. I mean, GM is getting there with some of their graphics, but still, I think Tesla is really leading in terms of controllability through their screen. This is a little bit overwhelming to me. When I hit the vehicle button here, this is overwhelming. I mean, I understand it. I can look at it. There's a car wash mode. I can control my mirrors, my steering. My drive modes are here. By the way, let me see. There's Overland and Baja. Where are my locking differentials? Wade mode raises the height and pressurizes the battery when driving through shallow water. We may need this today because it's flooding in Los Angeles area. Towing and hauling. The brake controller is here as well, which is not ideal. What if there's an emergency on the highway while I'm towing? I have to go to the screen. This is not great for that. Charging. So right now we're about 65-ish%. 66% right there, and it says 208 miles of range left. Well, we need to do more range testing, but really in reality, this truck probably does not quite meet what Tesla has been saying for ultimate range of over 300 miles per charge, just in real world driving, but I have to test it more to figure this out. It has power outlets, which is really great. I can show you the one in the bed. Autopilot, well, this is a Foundation Series truck, which means it will have several other technologies, including full self-driving when it becomes available, which it's not yet. Here's some of its efficiency screens. Oh, here are the locking differentials. Locking differential controls coming soon. Oh boy. Okay, so it will be kind of an over-the-air update. But supposedly front and rear lockers need to be controllable, and Eric is already a customer. This is a production vehicle, so I don't like it. I don't like selling vehicles without all of the features that you say they're going to have. All right, we're back in the bed, and it has this little storage compartment here. I have the hitch cover that I removed. putting it back here. It's quite deep. You can kind of tell how deep this is. But there is one humongous omission. There's no spare tire on this pickup truck. So yeah, it has a lot of really great qualities. But if you're going to bring a spare tire with you, you're going to have to somehow mount it either in the bed, tie it down, or maybe create another solution like a hitch-mounted tire carrier. Not great for a pickup truck, because every pickup truck I know of has a spare tire, with a couple of exceptions, but most of them do. This is cool. So this has 240 volt and 120 volt power export capability. We'll be doing some of this testing as well. This is awesome. Ford F-150 Lightning has something similar. The new Silverado EV has something similar. This is really great. And let me close this now. Overall, I think my first impression is pretty positive. I think this truck could do a lot of work. You can see the bed is actually pretty good size. It has lots of payload. It has maneuverability, self-leveling features with the suspension, and of course the steering systems. That's really, really amazing. But I'm worried about a lot of the powered elements of this truck. It doesn't have almost any hard buttons other than some of these outside to control the doors and the tailgate and the tonneau cover. So what if there's a problem with the screen? What if there's a problem with the camera? You're kind of relying on a lot of the technology, which is great when it's working, but if it's not working, there could be issues with this. So, thank you for joining me for this first deep dive into the new truck. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering how much this costs, this is a dual motor Foundation series, which starts at $79,990, so about 80 grand. But the Foundation series adds about $20,000 more to that, with special, well, this has been wrapped, special Foundation markers. There's one on the inside. But also full self-driving is supposed to be included, which this doesn't have. Several other features that are supposed to be included, this doesn't have. So hopefully really, really soon Tesla will provide all that stuff, including over-the-air updates for the differential lockers. And that's still to be determined, still to be tested. So my first impression is quite positive. I love the size of this vehicle. I think it could be very, very useful. But like I said, I think there's room for improvement. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll see you next time at oldtfl.com, and check out butter_EV channel, where Eric is doing a lot more with his Cybertruck. Thanks.